Hello and welcome to episode 332 of the Daily Sales Message podcast, where every single day I share a piece of simple and actionable advice that's designed to help you feel more confident and sell more stuff. And by virtue of it being episode 332, I'm edging ever closer to my first anniversary of the podcast. Quick segue into the history of the podcast. Back in 2019, I had the idea for this, but then I shelved it because I didn't think I had the time, etc. And it wasn't until 4 years later in 2023, I met a person. He said, you should have a podcast, get to work, what are your excuses? And I could hear myself giving him nonsense excuses. So I said, right, that's it, I'm committing. And ever since then, that was 332 days ago today, ever since then, I've produced a single episode every single day with a piece of advice, sales advice. It's designed to be actionable and it helps you feel more confident and sell more stuff, pretty much in that order. Right, enough of the history lesson. In today's episode, we're talking about context. Context converts. Context meaning what else is happening for your buyer. It's too easy for us to talk to people in isolation. We meet somebody, they want to buy something from us. Great, you want to buy that product? We sell that product. Brilliant. And we don't really take the time to think, why are they buying that product? What's the greater need here? What's the context? What are they doing with that? Because if we think about that, not only can we serve the buyer better and know what to focus on, but we could also potentially actually sell more stuff to them, but not in a pushy way, in a quite necessary way. They might need guidance. So prime example, I've recently bought a very, very big tent. It's essentially a big top, this thing, a very, very big tent where my wife and I are going to start to take the children camping, get into that kind of stuff. And my camping is another world of all sorts of stuff to buy. And I'm quite uninitiated. I don't know. So I'm talking to the guy at the camping shop, rather than just saying, I need a tent for this many people. There we go. So rather than him saying, great, you want that one then? Or that one? Which do you like? He said, great. Have you been camping before? How come you're going camping now all of a sudden? Do you have other things? Do you like this? You do this? Blah, blah, blah. He started asking me some really good questions. And that gives him context. And we ended up walking out of there with the tent, with lots of other things, in particular an inflatable three-piece suite. I didn't know such a thing existed, but inflatable sofas that go in our tent, and that give you an idea of how big this tent actually is. It's huge. But it was the context that converted. He took the time to understand what we wanted, to learn about it, and then he made recommendations on the basis of that. So when somebody says they want to buy from you, it can be so easy. It's like, oh my God, you want to buy a mouse? I've got a mouse. You can buy it. Here you go. But ask some questions. Think about the context, because I might also need a keyboard. I might also need something else, batteries for the mouse, whatever it is. So you can do a better job of serving the client. You can also actually potentially sell them more stuff. But like I say, not in like a pushy or overbearing way. I was excited to buy those inflatable sofas. I didn't even know they existed. So you do a better job. Understand the context. Context converts. That's the moral of the story for today. Learn more about your buyer, why they're buying the things they're buying, what are they doing, what are they trying to achieve, and see where you fit into that just beyond the actual thing they've told you that they want to buy from you. Right, that's it for this episode of this camping-related episode of the podcast. That was random. Tomorrow, in episode 333, I'm talking about the order of how you focus on things. We put something before something else when we're speaking to clients. I'll explain more. It's a bit of an abstract teaser, that one, isn't it? But I'll explain more in tomorrow's episode. In the meantime, if you haven't already connected with me, hop on over to LinkedIn. You will find me there, James Newell, Clear Sales Message. Connect with me, shoot me a DM, let me know what you like about the podcast. If you've got any questions or things you want me to cover in a future episode, then I'm more than happy to do so. Go to LinkedIn. You will find me there. I'm very active on LinkedIn. Thank you for listening or watching all the way to the end. I do appreciate it. I'll catch you tomorrow for a less camping-related edition of the Daily Sales Message.